Welcome back to the channel, everybody. So I've been having a really rough time with some unlucky pieces lately. So today, instead of hunting for something that I'm expecting a lot from, I'm just going to look at trying to do this tiny little cushion cut piece. It'll actually probably be fairly close to a perfect square by the time I'm done with it, I'm hoping. But to give a bit of an idea of how small it is, we're looking at around about 6.5mm or a 1/4 inch by about the same, 6.5mm, 1/4 inch. And in terms of weight, we're less than a carat in the rough form. And the rough is interesting. It looks to be that it's just going to be a pretty small crystal, which may have to become a doublet just because it's not overly thick either. We're looking at, it's 3mm at its thickest, 2mm at its thinnest. But it's a pretty colourful crystal. Knowing my luck, it'll have sand shooting through it or cracks all through it. I don't see a lot of cracks, but I didn't look overly carefully, and just like the last video you saw, you don't look carefully enough and you miss things. Because I should have seen those cracks coming. But yeah, basically I'll square this one up, take off the top crust, take off the bottom crust, and we'll see what we're left with. It should just be a fun little piece, and it should be pretty close to the smallest piece of opal I've cut. Because it's so symmetrical, I might even try to get it as close to a perfect square as I can get. Just have a bit of fun rather than hunt for an absolute gem. I'll just be happy to carve this into a square. So, it has gotten tiny. This thing has gotten so much smaller than I expected. I mean, we're talking about less than 5, and then the other way around, I think it's less than 4. Oh, just over 4. So it's not quite square, but that's alright. And it's definitely become the smallest cushion cut that I've ever attempted. Now, I could cheat at this stage and chuck it on a dop stick and go from there, but I'm not going to. I'm going to stick to my guns and I'm going to do this all by hand. So the front's pretty good. The back's got a couple sand spots. I don't know if I'll grind them away too much. I think it's a little bit lopsided, so I will grind down one edge and see if that's the edge with the sand. I think it is. So it might be gone and we'll have a nice tiny little crystal cushion cut. The reason it's this small, I'll pop up a picture of it now. So there was this clear crack along, well, it was like 1/3 of the way in the piece. And that crack kind of went all the way along the side, and yeah, I decided I didn't like it. So I ground all the way back to that crack. And yeah, this is what it's turned out like. So the crack now is located just along one of the edges. If I can have a better look, I've disguised it well, so it is almost gone. Alright, I actually can't tell which edge it is. So I've done a good job then. We'll go with that. I've done a good job. But this is it dry, and as you can see, it's quite colourful. Just your standard greens and blues. Nothing more exciting than that, with a bit of water. See the colour just jump out. And yeah, so I'm going to hit this now with the Nova tips and polish it up. And like I said, I'm not going to cheat and put it on a dop stick. I'm literally going to go at this with my fingers. It requires a lot of dexterity in the fingertips, and I'll probably grind away all the skin on the ends of my fingers, but I want to challenge myself, and this piece was just for a bit of fun. And we're going to end up with a 4mm by 4mm tiny cushion cut, I guess. Maybe close to a square cut. And for the Americans, I believe 4mm is, I don't know, bit over an eighth of an inch. So we're talking tiny. If I zoom out a bit, there you go. Put it in a ring. Absolutely tiny. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and attack with the Nova tips, and we'll see if we can get this nice and shiny. I reckon we will. And it's done. So my fingers are crying out for help because grinding this has been a pain. Basically, I've had it pinched between my nails, either that way or when I'm doing the edges, doing it like this, and squeezing real hard because I've dropped this about 4,000 times in the time it took me to do that. It is one slippery sucker, especially as it got polished. But we're going to zoom all the way in and have a look at him. It's actually a really nice looking piece of crystal. So this is the front side. Hopefully we can maintain focus a bit. I might actually come a bit closer to the camera. So yeah, a lot of green, a lot of blue, bit of yellow orange. This is the back side, so the back side's pretty rough still. I think I might just grind away that sandy inclusion there and just shape it a little bit, just because it's a crystal and you do see that through if you hold a light to the back. But because this is so bright, you don't actually see the back all the way through it that easily. But if I just wave my finger here, you can see, you can definitely get the light travelling all the way through, which means you'll see the inclusions at the back if you have a real good look. Also, you can't see it by eye, but if you get a magnification glass or something and have a look, you can actually catch where the opal has a crack. You can see that pretty deep. But the amount that I've thrown this thing around, it's bounced off the floor, it's bounced off the wall, it's bounced off the table, off the enclosure that stops everything from spitting everywhere. It's bounced off all of that and it's not breaking, so it's still very, very strong, even with that slight crack going through it. Well, it doesn't really go through it, it's just a slight crack on the outer surface. That's not too deep. I think you can see it slightly just there. But yeah, so that's that. We'll just get a quick measurement. Oh dear Lord. No wonder it was so difficult. So it's 4 by 4.5, I guess. Just about. Pretty close to square. I could probably tidy that up and square it actually if I really felt like it. Put a bit of a move around. And I guess we'll just get a final weight and that'll be it for this stone. It'll probably give me nightmares tonight, but it was fun. At least it was fun. Oh my god. I actually thought it would probably be closer to 1/4 of a carat, so 0.375, 0.4. It's actually a little bit higher than I thought, so I'm pleased with that. And I wasn't expecting anything, and I had a great time carving this, even though it was quite challenging. Everybody loves a challenge, and it's come out really well. So, we've had a win, I think. I've had a bad run of opal carving in the last week or so, but this one has really turned it around and I'm excited to get into the next piece. I'm not overly sure what it'll be. I think I might go hunting for a bit of red. I might go for some red hunting. I've got a couple pieces of rough that have some really good, well, we don't know if it's really good, but it's got some indications of being really good red. So I'm going to go for that. And that might be my next video. So stay tuned and we'll see if I can do even better than this crystal. It was a lot of fun, but it's a nightmare to carve something so small without a dopstick. See you in the next one.